John, thanks for joining us from Puerto Rico today. Give me a couple of examples of how you executed discipline or discipline dictates action, that process during the last couple of weeks in some of your trades.
I'll give you one today, Dirk. Yesterday we talked about that Tesla paper. Stock was 207. It moved up to about 208.5 yesterday. That's not really enough to write home to mom about or anything. Didn't touch it. Today in the pre-market, it popped to 212.60 in the pre. I sold some stock at 212.10 in the pre. And then when we got to the regular session, I was able to sell I think the 212.50 calls or something like that, weeklies, against the long at the monies that I had already. Why did I do that? The investor day is tomorrow. Stock could be 225. Stock could also be 195. That's why I did it, because I don't know. I have a feeling that somebody bought 30,000 calls for a reason, paid $2, paid $6 million in total for that trade, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be right. It means that the odds favor them being right, at least the way I look at it, that who knows, maybe this is the guy that likes to do microdosing with Elon Musk. And that's why he's in there buying these calls. I don't know, but somebody, this would be right out of billions, folks. Somebody bought 30,000 of those calls. We talked about it, Pete and I, on both Rebel's Edge and on Fox with Charles Payne yesterday. If you took some profits, you're a freaking happy camper. I'm long a spread for free right now because of that. Now, if I sold everything this morning, I'd look pretty smart because now the stock's 206 or 205 something, but I'm still betting that they have a reason that they were accumulating those calls ahead of his thing tomorrow, his investor day. So the discipline of cutting losses on short-term trades. If this was a June trade, I wouldn't have touched it, either side, because I wouldn't have sold calls against what I have, because it could go a lot further and the time decay is zero out in June. It really is close to zero. But the time decay on something that expires Friday, March 3rd is massive. And one of the things that I throw out there that Ryan and Greg McDermott and all of the guys on our team, folks, know this, but I must get 3 or 4 calls from networks a day asking me about, they call it ZTEs, zero time to expiration. Zero time to expiration means for the dailies. Right now, that's just the indexes, right? We don't see Apple, you don't see Tesla with zero time to expiration until it's Thursday. Thursday, we'll see a zero time to expiration because the options that expire on the 3rd, that's zero time, right? But they're all asking, wow, so much volume's going on in these zero time till expiration options. Exactly right. And the volatility of those is sky high. It is not 21. It is not 22. It's mid 30s. How do I know? Back into it. I mean, if you plug it into the form, that's why the CBOE and everybody else takes that out of the VIX calculation. It has no options that expire in 3 days, 4 days, or whatever. When you get to the final week of an options life, they nix that all together from the calculation, and they're already out there 5 weeks into the future to calculate the VIX. So with these, so-called zero time to expiration options, they are extremely volatile because it's a binary bet, something, nothing, one or the other. So when you've got that, that's why you've got to be really disciplined about taking losses, which I do every day, or profits, which I do every day. And knock on wood, as long as I'm cutting those losses, and not being undisciplined about letting it go, that's Pete's DDA. As long as I'm disciplined about cutting that loss, I'm fine. as long as I'm disciplined about taking that profit, I still have better than what I have, about 40% of my position on into tomorrow's Tesla trade. And hopefully that works out. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to just let it go to zero. If Elon gets up there and throws a brick through another car window and people start selling the stock, I will be out. But if he announces the Model 2 and the stock jumps to 225, I will always take that profit and run.